I fly quite a bit, like many of you. I think most of the time it can be a fairly mundane process. It's the same thing. It's the same equipment painted a different color in reality. They have the same goals. They want to get you there on time, and they want to get you there safe, correct? Now, I know there'll be some marketing people that disagree with me in that statement, but it's the same equipment with the same goals, most importantly. How can someone make that uniquely different in our realm? Enter a gentleman by the name of Captain Denny. Airline brand, not important. But I think the airline's been beat up a lot in the past because of some negative things, but there's so many positive things that we don't hear about, right? I'm in Tampa, Florida, flying through Washington, D.C., coming back up to Columbus, Ohio, where I live and I am from. I have my family with me. I have 3 daughters. True, very tough. 3 daughters. And it was a summertime event. They came with me. We're flying through D.C. And it's the typical announcement. You know the deal. Someone comes up to the podium and, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll begin boarding. We'll begin boarding in zones. Please have your boarding passes ready, right? The same. And you get on the little red carpet, the little blue carpet, the little green, the A, B, or C, right? That's what you do. It's mundane. No one's really paying any attention to the announcement. But then out of the jetway, the door opens up, and like the crew walks off all in complete uniform. 2 of them had the hat on and everything. And was one of the gentlemen with the hat. He comes up to that same podium, and it was odd, but it looked like this. It was like, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Flanagan. I'll be flying you to Washington, D.C., and I thought you all should know that this is my second flight. I'm from the Midwest. Do you know what prairie dogging is? You ever heard that term? That's when you got 1,000 people sitting there, and all of a sudden they're all like, what? Did you hear what he just said? What did he? And this captain played it perfect. My second flight. Today, I just flew in from Washington, D.C. Don't worry, there were some bad clouds. I'm going to fly you around those clouds. I'm going to get you there safe. I'm going to get you there on time. He then introduces the co-pilot, introduces the flight attendants, and asks if we have any questions. They'd be happy to answer them for us. I was like, what? This was before all the issues, several years back, before the customer service issues were raised. And I thought it was fascinating because to me, you know what it was? It was that simple disruptor. He was identifying and delivering a unique moment how other people chose not to do it. And it made me stop and think like, oh, that was cool. That was neat. I didn't ask any questions, but other people did. And we're getting on the plane, going down the jetway. Who's always the first person to greet you? Flight attendant or stewardess, correct. Well, there is the captain standing outside the plane, shaking people's hands. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? And I stopped. I'm like, wait, what's your name? It's like, Captain Denny. And I asked him straight up, I'm like, you're getting reviewed today, aren't you? Why else would someone do that? And he's like, no, I just like to do it different. And he gave me it's about the size of a postcard, and it was a picture of the Boeing 757, and on the back was how much it weighs, how far it can fly, how many people it can carry. It was like the stats of the Boeing 757. And I told him, I said, this is cool. I appreciate you just making a little difference in the day for those who travel a lot. And I told him I like to do customer experience programs, and he asked for my business card. And I give him my card. And there was like 74 people behind me like, please get on the plane. Please just. Mid-flight, I get that little ding. If there's a Jon Petz on board, would you kindly ring your flight attendant button? My kids are like, Dad? told you not to talk to people. And I call flight attendant, ring it, flight attendant comes up, and she gives me a business card of the captain. And I'm like, oh, that is really cool. She's like, no, turn it over. And I turn it over, and I have a handwritten note to the Petz family telling, I am a valued customer. Thank you for my business. He appreciates it. What can he do to exceed my expectations? And I'm like, I'm thinking, that is so cool. Wait a second. Just got a handwritten note from the guy when he's supposed to be flying. I'm sure he had his knee on the stick, right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know how it works. You know, shortly thereafter, he gets on the intercom again. He told everyone to pull out those little postcards. He says, hey, I have my autograph on 2 of them. If you've got one with my autograph, you've just won a bottle of wine. What? I didn't win. You know, he gave away those little bottles of wine. We land. Where do you think that captain was? Of course. He's shaking hands. We're walking off. I literally asked my family, I said, I'll meet you up in the gate area. I stepped into the aisle, and I waited till every person was off the plane because I wanted to literally ask him, why? Why do you do it? And he said he wanted everyone to feel like it was their first time flying. Whether someone like me who has at some point probably cursed every airline company in my career, vowing never to fly them again. But I do, and I appreciate, and I love them. I do. They take care of me. He says, why can't I do it a little different? And you'll notice I took brand. It's not a brand. This is a person and his personal brand. He shared with me when there's an unaccompanied minor, a child flying without a parent, he'll sit down by that child before takeoff. He'll call the parent. You imagine getting that phone call? Mrs. Petz, don't worry. I'm sitting with Jonathan. I want you to know I'm going to get him there safe, and he's doing great. When there's some larger pets that fly underneath in cargo, he goes down and takes a picture of Sparky, brings it up to AT&C and says, hey, I want you to know they're going to be just fine. Simple moments that are so significant to his guests, right? I had the guy's email. I figure I'm going to email him, see if it's like a dummy generic email. But he beat me to it. I have an email the next morning from Captain Denny. Knew me my name, my wife's name, knew how many miles I had flown. A little stalky at that point. But he reinforced, he appreciated my business. Thank you for flying his aircraft. And you know what? If you line up the major carriers, the planes painted different colors, all going the same place, all costing about the same, even if one costs a little bit more, but Captain Denny is standing in front of it. What airplane are you getting on? What do people say about you? What's that hashtag? And how can you not only identify the moments, but deliver them in unexpected ways?